And Attorney General Marty Jackley is asking parents whose kids were coached by a now criminally charged former gymnastics coach to reach out with any pertinent information. Hayden Sengwa worked at Just Gymnastics until May of last year, was indicted on multiple child pornography related charges. The AG says investigators are trying to identify all of the children in the more than 14,000 pictures in the case.
Some children have been identified. There's some AI involved. We just want to make sure if there are local kids out there that may need assistance, they may need help, we want to just make sure we're identifying them and getting them the help that they may need.
Federal prosecutors allege Sengwa received and possessed images of child sex abuse from 2018 to earlier this year. Sengwa's alleged collection included photos of infants and toddlers being sexually abused, tortured, and engaging in sex acts with animals. Sengwa is alleged to have possessed computer-generated child pornography in addition to erotic visual depictions of minors. As of late last month, federal prosecutors say that none of the photos of local children coached by Sengwa rose to the level of child porn.